This morning, Anthony and I are continuing our segment focused on monitoring men's health. Once a month, we are going to have a conversation about the important issues that we all need to be talking about. And this month, we're tackling prostate cancer.
Yeah, this is one of those diseases that doesn't have a lot of symptoms, hardly any, if any, if all. And it is a slow-growing cancer. And by the time you actually start to feel symptoms, well, it could be too late. So the best way to keep track of prostate cancer is very important. Regular checkups. Regular is the word there. Regular is the word.
Annual. We caught up with a urologist at Mercy, Dr. Gregory McLennan. He explains who is most at risk.
The American Urological Association right now recommends screening between the age of 55 and 70, but that is a little bit variable depending on your history. So risk factors for getting prostate cancer is a father, a brother, an uncle, a family history of prostate cancer, some ethnicities being an African American male. So sometimes we do start screening earlier than those ages.
So if you look right there at the outline for who needs to be screened, I'm right there in the middle of it all, the age of 58.
Yeah. And of course the race goes along with it too. Now the important thing he mentioned, if you have family history, say your dad got prostate cancer at 55, what you would want to do as their son is go 10 years prior to when they were diagnosed. So if you had a father who was diagnosed at 60, you want to get checked at 50. If you had a father who was diagnosed at maybe 50, you want to go at 40. So it's different for everybody, but the 10-year threshold is what he stressed. If you have that history and you know it's in your family, go at least 10 years before the diagnosis was caught.
And I know for a lot of folks, it's sort of embarrassing to talk about or something like this, but you need to have those conversations so that people know the history.
Yes, exactly.
And let them know exactly when you started feeling the symptoms so they know 10 years before that, let me go get checked out.
And it's one of those diseases too that is hard to prevent. We talked last week about, or last month, about the sodium, how you can actually bring your blood pressure down if you eat right, work out right. But prostate cancer is one of those things that there aren't any symptoms. You can feel perfectly fine and be diagnosed with it.
Yeah. And speaking of prevention, we're going to get to that right now. Dr. McLennan says there's not much in the way of prevention, but the best thing you can do is to simply stay healthy.
Keep your heart healthy, eat right, exercise, put yourself in a good place so if you have to treat it, that'll work. You know, you'll be in a good place for it. As far as, you know, we've had a lot of studies over the years of different ways to prevent prostate cancer, certain foods and diets, and none of that's ever really panned out. It's hard to control, hard to study, and nothing's ever proven to prevent.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that because you hear people say, oh, I'm going to get rid of red meat or I'm going to eat more vegetables. And he said that it's been so back and forth in the last decade that they don't know. It's one of those where you just have to go get screened.
Yeah, and that's the number one thing people have to understand is that they don't know. So because of that, do what you can on your own to prevent it from happening, but it always seems to come back to the diet.
Yes,
it always seems to come back to
and
the
how
diet.
much do you work out? How are you exercising? Do you have a sedentary life? Do you just sit on the couch every day and do nothing? Because that is what causes your heart to get a little bit unhealthy. Now, the good thing about this cancer, it is treatable. They have two types. You can have the surgery to remove it or the radiation. And when I talked to Dr. McLennan, he mentioned that it is very treatable. I mean, you can catch it, get it removed, and live a happy, healthy life afterwards, even with radiation, if you catch it early enough.
Okay. So truly, the number one thing here is to understand that you need to get your regular checkups, even if you are a young adult. In fact, one of the actors from 90210, actor Brian Austin Green, who's in his 40s, so recently underwent testing and discovered that he has ulcerative colitis. He talked to us about that.
It's become so simple at this point. There used to be so much stigma, especially with prostate cancer screening, because it was a rectal exam. It seemed invasive for a lot of men. Men didn't want to deal with it. They didn't want to discuss it. They wanted to avoid it as much as possible. There's no excuse now. Now they've got the PSA testing, which is, it's a blood draw. You go in and it takes 5 minutes of your time. You can do it annually.
Yeah, and the PSA levels are so important. Talk to your doctor about that when you go get checked. And the one thing that he mentioned, this was so funny, he said, men just don't come. You won't go to the doctor for 10 years. You might not go to the doctor for 20 years. So he said, there's always a woman that's pushing that man to go get him checked. Right, Monica and Michelle?
Yeah.
It's very important because
Yeah.
you won't go on your own. And sometimes we have to go with them.
Yeah.
And then we have to hear what the doctor says because you don't hear what the doctor says.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, just hold our hands. We
We
appreciate
will.
that.
Yes.
We got
Make
you.
the phone call for you.
Stay with us now. Today in St. Louis at 6 a.m. starts right now.